evening, everyone, and welcome to an evening at XQ's. My name is Sarah Lamontagne, and I will be your host this evening. As you know, XQ strives to showcase local talent, whether it be photographers, painters, mixed media artists, and of course, local musicians. Tonight, we have the pleasure of welcoming an artist who has 5 albums under his belt, 11 national and international awards, including 3 Juno nominations. He will charm you with his lovable stage presence, his powerful vocals, and his soulful sound. Please welcome Don Amero.
Thanks. Well, thanks for being here, everybody. I gotta just tell you this funny thing, because this happened once before where some folks had walked in a bit earlier, and they said, "Who's playing tonight?" And I said, "Oh, there's this guy, Don Amero, tonight. He's going to blow your mind. Just get ready." And, well, here I am. So hopefully... this is a song called Life Gets Better. And so all the songs you're going to hear from me today are original songs. I wrote this one probably about 11 or 12 years ago. And I was sitting at the computer, and the words just sort of... And I wrote this song in about 15 minutes. It came to me really fast. The words just sort of fell onto the paper, or the computer, and I just felt like in that moment that I was sort of catching a song that sort of I don't even really think that I maybe wrote this song. I think it was somewhere up in the stratosphere or something, and I was just able to catch it, and that's why I wrote it so fast. And the way I see it, this song's about sort of remembering in the trenches of life when things are hard that there are people out there that love you and care for you, and if you don't forget that, then the road won't be so hard. So it's called Life Gets Better. Hold on, it will be a while until you find yourself in this place. It won't take long for you to see. You gotta go deeper to be set free. If you wanna try and walk this life alone, you're gonna find yourself far from home. Take my word and you're gonna know that life gets better when you're not alone. You walk the road, but you walk alone. Forget the ones you've always known. There's more to life than broken hearts. To see it clearly, gotta go back to the start. Try and walk this life alone. You're gonna find yourself far from home. Take my word and you're gonna know you're not alone. Stop. There's many lies we're led to believe, so many more we don't see. We try so hard to push away, but the ties that bind us are here to stay. Try and walk this life alone. You're gonna find yourself far from home. Take my word and you're gonna know that life gets better. Life gets better. Life gets better when you're not alone. Thanks. So how's dinner? Yeah? Yeah, that's... They said I wasn't allowed to eat till later. They wanted to know if I was good or not, so they just said I'd have to wait So I'm just going off what you guys say. No, I'm sure it's delicious. I had a little taste of something earlier, so I'm really excited to get to the rest of it later. This. I know I said everything I'm going to sing for you guys tonight is original music. This is a song I didn't actually write. It's not a cover. It is my song. It's a song that was written by some great writers in Nashville, and it came to me about a little over a year ago. And when I first heard it, it's a song called Church. When I first heard it, I was like, it's a great song, but it's not for me. And I said, send it back. And about a week had passed, and my manager said, you should take another listen, check it out again. And the song is all about sort of this person's church being the great outdoors, sort of when you're by the trees, by the water. You know, that sometimes tends to be in life where we hear the most, from the divine. And it hit me like a ton of bricks that day because about a year earlier, my dad had passed away. He was only 57. And so it's been almost 2 years now, a little over 2 years actually since my dad passed. But on that day, I was thinking pretty heavily about my dad. And I remember just kind of thinking, when I heard the chorus of the song, I was like, that's my dad. That's totally my dad. My dad said so many times in my life that he felt like he was closest to God when he was fishing, when he was near the water, and that was his church. And so when I made that connection, I knew that this song was mine. So I'm so glad that these writers from Nashville were looking for a place to find a home for this song, and it found a home in me. And I just feel honored to be able to share it with you guys. So this is called Church. Way out in the woods, nobody there, middle of nowhere. You might just see trees and weeds and dirt, but I call it church. It ain't nothing but a river, a little place I float on an old John boat. Might look like just a rod and reel and worms, but I call it church. It ain't no Sunday morning, it ain't no preacher preaching, but out here in the quiet, I can hear him speaking to me. Out where the wild things grow, out on this country road, sun, the stars, and the Holy Ghost. Yeah, I go to church. Nights I sit out on the hood of my old truck and I look up and I feel like I could see the whole wide world. Yeah, I stare at that full moon, I drink a beer and breathe in the air, and I thank him for the more than I deserve, and I go to church. It ain't no Sunday morning, it ain't no preacher preaching, but out here in the quiet, I can hear him speaking to me. Out where the wild things grow, out on this country road, sun, the stars, and the Holy Ghost. Yeah, I go to church. I go to church. No people, no views, no steeple, just blue sky. I'm praying with my eyes wide open, wide open. Oh, it ain't no Sunday morning, it ain't no preacher preaching, but out here in the quiet, it ain't no Sunday morning, it ain't no preacher preaching, but out here in the quiet, I can hear him speaking. Out where the wild things grow, out on this country road, sun, the stars, and the Holy Ghost. I go to church, I go to church, yeah, I go to church. Thanks.
Thank you, Don. That was amazing.
My mom is Métis from Manitoba here, so she has Cree Métis roots. And then also my dad is from Nova Scotia, so I have East Coast Acadian roots on my dad's side. So how I came across the name Amero so when his family come over on the boat and they got to Nova Scotia, they said Amero, which is French. So and it was spelled Amirault, Amero. And so they get off the boat and they said, "What's your name?" They said Amero. So they were writing it down phonetically, Amero. So I became an Amero. So you mix sort of like the indigenous blood and my dad's sort of European blood, and you get this.
I was just wondering, does your father speak Le Chiac?
No,
No?
My dad barely spoke English, actually, but he's gone, so he can't defend himself anymore, so that's okay.
For those of you who might not know, the Chiac is a kind of dialect in New Brunswick, the Acadians, and it's a mix of French and English. And an example would be if you were to say, "I like your skirt," you'd say, "J'aime la way taille bahang." It means like, I like the way your skirt hangs, but you're just saying, "I like your skirts," and you're mixing French and English, and it makes absolutely no sense. Yeah.
I wonder if I went up to a girl and said, "I like the way your skirt hangs." I wonder if that would... Yeah, kind of some trouble.
Does sound a little odd. All right, so that song was beautiful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, pleasure.
What I've noticed from speaking with different musicians over the years and at an evening at Excuse, but also in other places, is that each musician seems to have their own unique journey when it comes to music. And I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your own journey and what inspired you to get into the music industry.
Well, there's the long-winded version, or it's long-winded either way, so you're in for it now. But so for me, it started actually when I was 15 years old. See, I was born at a very young age, and yeah, get it? So so I was 15 years old, and I liked a girl in my junior high. It always starts with a girl. You should know that for most male musicians. And I was in grade 9, and I was always a shops and woods kind of guy, and autos and stuff like that, and she was into the arts, and so I knew that she was there, and she wasn't coming over to shops, so I had to go over to where she was. So there was an audition for the school play, which at that time was Oklahoma, and I was auditioning for the lead role of Curly. You've seen this show? It's from 1938. You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I'll look it up
Anyway.
later.
So I auditioned for the thing, and I got up on stage much like this, and all my friends and peers were out there, and again, I'm a grade 9 kid, so I don't really have a whole lot of confidence, but my mom always said I was great. But moms are supposed to say you're great even if you suck, right? So I had no really gauge to know whether I was good or not. So I get up on stage and I sang the song. I can't remember, it was like "When I Take You Out in the Surrey Chicks," something like, I can't remember what it was exactly, but so I finished this song, and when I'm done, the teacher, who's standing kind of right where you are, and a couple of girls in the front row, they were crying. And I remember thinking, I was devastated. My face went red, and I thought, oh man, I tanked. I made people cry. Like, it was that bad that people were in tears. Well, lo and behold, I got the lead role that year, and funny enough, I won Male Vocalist of the Year that year, but I was the only guy singing, so it was mine to lose. Can you imagine if I didn't win it, if somebody else, some girl won it? Anyways, and so many years had passed between that and I started writing and playing at the same time too. I was never really good enough to learn other people's songs, so I started by sitting down, playing the guitar, and learning and teaching myself for the most part, and going to my dad or my brother and asking for, can throw me a chord here or there. And but it was in 2006 when I auditioned for Canadian Idol, when it was still kind of cool. And it was still around. It's not around anymore. But I auditioned for Canadian Idol, and again, lo and behold, I got the golden ticket to go to Toronto. I made it to Toronto. I made it through 4 auditions there, and I was just before the final cut before the TV show. And they let me. It was down to 76. There's like 15,000 people or something auditioned, and I was down to the top 76, and they cut me. So this time I was crying. So I was devastated. I remember leaving the show going, but I can sing better than that person. I can sing better than them. And I was like pointing the finger and thinking I was, my ego at the time. And I actually went and talked. They said, you can come talk to the judges. And I went and talked. I said, why are you letting me go today? And I said, sorry, man, everybody was great and everybody could have made it, but we had to cut it down. And I walked away from that kind of realizing two things. One, TV is not what you think it is. So even there's production happening. So there's always a lot of people and hands at work. So it wasn't really just about voices. It was about characters, and I wasn't a character. So I learned through that. And the other thing I learned was I was waiting for somebody else to hand me something, to kind of hand me the golden baton or whatever. And so I just said, you know what, I'm going to take the reins of this, and I'm going to do it myself. And I made my own CD in my sister's attic. Cost me $300, and I went on the road with that. And that was 11 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And your efforts were clearly worth it. Like, look where you are now, tons of nominations, awards, like, that's awesome.
It's pretty crazy when I think about it.
It really seems like you've made the most out of what's come to you in life, and you've taken everything, and you realize that not everything is offered on a silver platter, and you took that and you ran with it. And it was worth it.
Yeah.
And this next song that you're about to sing is a little bit about that, isn't it?
Yeah, well, so this one, it's called Live While I'm Alive, which, again, the title kind of speaks for itself. When I was 27, so a year after the Canadian Idol thing, I loaded up my car with that $300 CD. Sorry, before that, I was a hardwood floor installer. So I was going into people's homes and laying down hardwood floors, and it was like playing Tetris all day, kind of. And which is, kind of fun in one way, but another way, I knew this wasn't what I was made for. It wasn't what I didn't feel like it was what God put me on this earth for. And so I was working one day, and my boss came in, and he said, "Man, you look terrible." And I said, "Well, I don't want to do this. This isn't my job." Nothing against the hardworking person that does kind of hard labor jobs their whole life. But for me, I knew it wasn't my call. And so he said, "You look miserable." And I said, "Well, I don't want to do this." And he said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, I've been dabbling with music for a couple of years, and I'd like to give that a go." And I thought he was going to say, "Well, don't be stupid. That's not going to work out." He said, "What are you waiting for?" And I was just like, "What?" And it lit the fire. So I quit. And I took that $300 CD, and I had a couple of copies, and I put it in my trunk of my car. I got in my car, and I went from Winnipeg to Halifax, Halifax to Vancouver, Vancouver back to Winnipeg. Over about 6 weeks, played about 30 shows, made -$0. And I came home, and I was really happy. And I realized something. In my life, I had these mountains I had to climb. One of them was, and it was a choice, one of them was the 9 to 5, the safe, secure, knowing every 2 weeks how much money was coming in, but being miserable. And the other mountain was, you have no idea day to day what you're going to be able to make, how you're going to make a living, you're going to be able to pay for your rent and all those things and food, but you get to be happy. And to me, the answer was obvious. I had to choose the mountain where I could lay down at night and be happy with myself. And so I did it, and I leapt for it. And my wife, luckily, was my sugar mama. She worked 2 jobs to provide for my music habit. And yeah, so it was a pretty incredible journey. And that was a lot of fight to get to this place, but to be honest, the last couple of years have been so full of blessings and amazing things that have just provided me and my family an opportunity to. My wife doesn't work anymore. She works harder than me. She's got our 2 kids, but she's now gets to be home with our kids, and music's providing a life for us, so it's pretty amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Don Amero with Live While I'm Alive.
Thanks. Oh, that old car in the field on Grandpa's farm, what a beauty. She had class, she had charm, I want to be like her. When I'm old and gray, when my time's up, nothing left unsaid to say, want to take the back roads the way she did back then, taking chances out of the lines now and again, want to make some noise, I wanna be heard. Shake things up, let the tires burn. I wanna live while I'm alive, fall in love with my heart and drive. I wanna let go of this beautiful ride and live before I die. I hope I'm gonna look back in the rear view of my life, no regrets, Every wrong turn turned out right. When I look at her, ain't afraid to die. But I'm so scared of running scared and wasting precious time. I wanna live while I'm alive, fall in love with my heart and drive. I wanna let go this beautiful and live before I die. No one knows what's round the bend. Life in the fast lane bound to end. But when the road got washed away, she didn't think of turning back. She was pedal to the metal. Wanna live my life like that. Oh, yeah. Oh, I wanna live while I'm alive, falling in love with my heart and drive. I'm gonna let go this beautiful. I'm gonna live before I die. Okay, you'll have to forgive me. I'm a little long-winded with my stories, so I'll try to keep this one a bit short. But I used to work at this cafe, Grace Cafe, North Henderson, way down North Henderson, and almost at the perimeter. And I worked with these two sisters, and I hated them. I always say that. I didn't hate them. I didn't like them, and they did not like me. We did not get along, and somehow, some way, I worked my way up to becoming the assistant manager of the Grace Cafe. And my first job, or at least my first job, I thought, was to get at least one of them fired. And so, in a roundabout way, I got the older sister fired, which was kind of a bummer because of the two of them. I could tolerate her a little bit more. And so the younger sister and I had to just tough it out day in and day out and just pretend the other one didn't exist. And I remember going into work one day, and I was on the bus, and I just said, you know what? I was like, God, if you can hear me, if you're out there, can you do something? Can you just step in and make her quit? Or do something? And I can't tell you what happened. I can't, because it was a miracle. I walked in and everything was different. We became fast friends that day. I walked out later on that afternoon. I had a little tear roll down my cheek because it was this thing I couldn't describe to you and tell you exactly what happened. But now this summer, she and I will celebrate 14 years of marriage. So it's kind of crazy, right? So. What I'm trying to say is just be careful what you wish for is really the... No, so what about the sister? That question comes up almost every time I tell that story. We haven't talked since, so... no, I'm just kidding. No, we're good buddies, I think. She might be trying to get me fired from some of the family, I don't know, but no, we get along really well. We all have a bunch of kids. My wife and I have two kids. We have a 6-year-old son named Oscar and a 2-year-old daughter named Stella. So they are tons of fun. But this is a song I wrote for my wife, Pam. We got married at her family's cabin out near Baconia, near Grand Beach. And I remember one day, sort of, we were on our way back to... I always say, like, living at the cabin is this beautiful, sort of nice life. Not that it's not real life, but I always, you kind of come back to the city, to real life. And we were on our way back to the city, and I just saw the sun setting, and she was asleep beside me. And I remember thinking, man, I just want to capture this moment in a song. And this is what came out of that moment. Sun is going down, driving back from your parents' cabin on the open road. Your head is on my shoulder, 15 miles to go. Tomorrow there'll be work to do, but everything I need is sleeping next to me. Ooh, my lovely. And I love the way you love me. You can depend on my love till the sun don't rise again. Memories, some of them aren't perfect, but we made it through. Love is never easy, it's the cruelest game. But when you finally find the one worth fighting for, that's when love becomes the sweetest thing. Ooh, my lovely. And I love the way you love me. You can depend on my love till the sun don't rise again. Ooh, my lovely. And I love the way you love me. You can depend on my love till the sun don't rise again. Yes, you can depend on my love till the sun don't rise again.
Hi. So this next song you're about to sing has a particularly interesting story behind it, does it not?
It does. Yeah.
Let's
So this
hear
is So this one, like as songwriters, you're always kind of like wondering where the next bit of inspiration is going to come from, where the next story will be, and I think as long as you're living and breathing and kind of just doing your thing, it's going to come. Like as long as you're here, there's always something to write about. You know, I think it just takes a little bit of listening and attention and just using your eyes and your ears and your heart. Well, I was on this plane, a small plane from Montreal to Moncton. I was on my way to the East Coast to do a bit of a tour. And it was like a small, not like scary small plane, but like no TV small kind of plane. And I know most of them don't have TVs anymore now, but at the time my best TV watching was on planes. And I remember picking up the Air Canada magazine for about the fourth time and saying out loud, there better be something good in here this time. As if the magazine owed me something, I don't know. But so I open it up, and the first thing I see is an award-winning short story called Mine. And I just thought, well, maybe there's something in here for me. So I started getting into this story, which was about a woman whose husband was on the end of his days. He'd been suffering from dementia. And as you go on a little bit further, you find out about 20 years earlier, he'd had an affair on his wife. And on this day, he was calling his wife by that woman's name. Exactly, that's what I thought when I was reading the story. I was like, man, that's all your brownie points are gone now, man. But you kind of read on a little bit further and you find out that they clearly had dealt with this in the past, and she was just letting it slide, knowing that his mind was not fully there anymore. He was also feeling kind of frisky on that day, and what he really wanted was this nice kiss. And this is the part that really stuck with me. He said, when he kissed me like a young man. And it stopped me in my tracks, and I was kind of like, well, like it seemed the way that it was written, it had been years, maybe decades since they had this kind of sweet embrace. And I thought in that moment, well, the way that I kiss my wife is the way I'm going to kiss her in 30, 40, 50 years' time, and I don't know if that's gross, but you don't know the way that I kiss, so... and I share this story quite often. And I remember one night I went to the CD table after, and an elderly couple came over to the CD table and proceeded to make out in front of me to show me how young they were. So don't do that. But is this making you uncomfortable? 'Cause
Not at all.
But as I read on, I'll come back to this young forever idea. You read on, and he wanted to go for a walk outside in the garden that day. It was pouring rain, but yet she, knowing that he doesn't have much time left, she obliges, and they go outside, and they lay down in the grass in the pouring rain, and he passes away that day. And she said, even though they'd had this thing 20 years ago, in the end, he was mine. So now I'm on the plane in tears. Again, I put a lot of crying in my stories, apparently, but now I'm kind of choked up, and I'm like, I feel like I have to respond in some way, and what do songwriters do is they write songs. So I get to my destination, which was PEI, a beautiful little place called Berdalben, PEI, and I got holed up in a cabin for a couple of days there, wood fire going, and it was a beautiful scene. And I spent 12 hours working on this song that came from that story. And what I was left with was this feeling of like, man, I just want to be young forever. I know physically you can't. I know, there's just certain things you can't defy. There's no fountain of youth that stops hair from going gray or out, whatever, And so for me, I was just like, I know inside I'm going to be forever 25. I bet I'm in a room full of people there's an age that you're not now that you still feel like on the inside. So I had to write a song about it in that way, and that's where this song came from. So
Well, I'm excited to hear it.
it's called Young Forever. Last night I had a dream. My grandpa came to me, and he said, son, you're doing fine, but you got something on your mind that just won't let you be. See, I've been watching as you grow. Now you think you're getting old, and I can see that you're afraid, so scared to turn the page, 'cause it feels like letting go. See, I know how you feel, 'cause I've been in those shoes. The young man inside will always be with you. Don't let the young man fade away. Don't let him fall asleep. He wants to stay awake, live to fight another day. Don't let the young man fade away. I woke up and he was gone, but his words kept holding on. And in the quiet of my bed, These words rang in my head like the lyrics from a song. Don't let the young man fade away. Don't let him fall asleep. He wants to stay awake, live to fight another day. Don't let the world take him down. Let him spread his wings and fly. And if he falls along the way, let him take another try. Don't let the young man in you die. Thanks.
So your music clearly draws inspiration from a multiple of things: Air Canada magazines, sisters that you dislike, love, and I was wondering. Often musicians have, is there a unique process when you write a song? Is it spur of the moment? Is it taking time? A lot of your songs have a very positive feeling to it. Are you ever inspired by grief or anger?
It's all in there, yeah. You know, I just spent a week in Nashville. I came back on Monday. I was down there for the third time. And the whole purpose of being down there was a writing trip. So you've got all these scheduled meetings to sit down and write with people. And so I wrote 7 songs last week. Not all of them are gems, mind you, maybe. I'm not sure yet, but excuse me, that's a bit of an exercise. So it's kind of like you're pushing yourself to kind of dig deeper and find some deeper meaning to it all. And sometimes you end up, like how one of them came about actually was, I was sitting there with a friend of mine, her name is Madison, and I just said, hey, so how you doing? And we're catching up, and when I said, so you got a boyfriend down here? She's living in Nashville. And she said, no, but he's out there somewhere. And I was like, is that a song? Like, so we wrote a song kind of around he's out there somewhere. And so it's funny where things will come from. And so this next one is one of those songs that came from a bit of a hard place. On a previous trip to Nashville, as I was on my way down there, I got a text saying our drummer in one of the bands I was working with had taken his own life. And so, I mean, I'm going down there to write, and, you know, again, as I said earlier, how songwriters often respond is by writing about the things you're going through. And so I get to this session, and they said, what's on your mind? And my friend Marty was pretty heavy on my heart. And I work sometimes with the band Indian City. I don't know if you've heard of this band, but so they're good friends of mine. So Marty was the drummer in that band. And we didn't really know what he was suffering from. We didn't know that he had been dealing with depression and mental illness. And I remember thinking, I wished he just would have talked to us. I wish he just would have been a shoulder. You know, he would have realized that we're a shoulder that he can lean on, and we can be an ear that he would listen to him. So I shared this with these other writers that I was writing with, and they said, "Wow, man, we're sorry about that." But maybe through this, there's a song that's coming through this, and maybe that there's others out there right now, and we know that there are suffering from the same, you know, depression and the same kind of illness with mental illness. And so we said, maybe we can write a song in honor of your friend that would be something that can lift other people up in the hard times. So this is the song that came out of that. So it was in my way of grieving, but at the same time, I always want to leave this sense of hope and sense of there's some strength. So this is really a song about really staying strong. So it's called Won't Give Up. Yeah. Ain't nowhere to go up against the ropes when lonely hits the heart like a heavy blow. I ain't scared to fight, but I've been wearing down. It's hard to throw a punch when you're on the ground. You might think that the fight is over, and it might look like I'm down for the count. I'm a rolling stone, I am wild and free, and if no one's by my side, I won't give up on me. Yeah, I've been in the dark, but that ain't me no more. There's a light inside of me worth fighting for. I'm a rolling stone, I am wild and free, and if no one's by my side, I won't give up. When there's only moments left, you wish you'd bet on me, 'cause I was never down. I was only on my knees. I'm a rolling stone, I keep rolling on. I'm the tried and true. When the road is long, and I will stand my ground, just like an old oak tree. And if no one's by my side, I'll never run and hide. I won't give up on me. Thanks. So my intention is not to make you feel bad tonight, so I'm hoping that there's some light at the end of this tunnel. As I tend to be, I find it way easier to write sad songs and heavier songs than I do write cheery songs. So I apologize. There's another couple of sad ones coming up, but I'll end with hopefully something that'll leave you with a smile on your face. But I don't know why. Just for some reason, the minor chords resonate with me, and sort of the longingness that music offers sometimes. I think I'm drawn to that. My other theory is this: it's usually when I'm alone by myself on the road, missing home, missing family, and that's when I'm writing songs. And so that tends to be what kind of comes out on paper or computer. When I'm happy and things are great and I'm enjoying time with my friends or my family, the last thing I'm doing is usually writing songs. So unfortunately, those happy moments don't get penned. So unfortunately for you, I got another sad one. But this is This is, it's called On Down the Road, and it really, again, I say sad, but really it's hopeful. The idea is, we all go through this life and we all struggle, and some days are harder than others, and one of my hopes with songs is that they do lift people out of the trenches, and just to say, be encouraged, hang on, don't let the hard time get you down, and around the next corner, around the next bend, even though today is hard, just keep going, just keep pressing on, because you're one day away from things changing for the better. You're one corner away from you meeting the love of your life, or you just never know. And so it's really about hanging in there. So it's called On Down the Road. Are you crying already? No. Why not? Why? Just wait till this one's done. You're standing alone, just you on this road. The bag on your back is all that you own. Well, I've kicked those stones, and I've sang blues, and I've walked those painted lines too. On down the road, we're on down the road, just keep on moving. On down the road, it seems no one cares, they all pass you by. Another small town with no long goodbye. You're losing faith, the sun's about to set, but this ain't as good, oh, as good as it gets. On down the road, we're on down the road, just keep on moving. On down the road. Well, sometimes it feels you just don't belong. Just keep on moving, keep hanging on. Ooh, ooh, ooh. On down the road, on down the road, just keep on moving. Yeah, we're on down the road. There's a warm embrace, and you find your place. Rest your heavy load. Sometimes it feels you just don't belong. Just do what you're doing, just keep on moving. On down the road. On down the road.
You were telling me earlier that you had begun a new initiative this past August. Could you tell the audience a little more about it?
So I know after that, you just want to throw money at me. So just throw away. No. We, as you know, music's always changing, and the way people get music is different. I do have CDs tonight, so if you like a CD, they're $10. But I'm selling less and less as every year happens to go by, and the new technology. And I'm a big fan of Spotify and Apple Music and all those things, and it's great for me as an artist. But unfortunately, there's not a lot of money to be made through that. So, trying to be somewhat ahead of the curve, I started a Patreon campaign, which is a platform that already existed. And so it's kind of like, if you heard of Kickstarter or Indiegogo, where artists are sort of trying to raise funds for an album or the next single or whatever. Well, I'm trying to raise funds just for everyday life, and just to kind of keep the capital going to keep things happening in the career. And there's a lot always happening. And I was just telling Paulo tonight that we have a lot of irons in the fire, and all of them seem to be getting hot right now, which is really quite cool. But also sort of a lot of things in limbo. And as I mentioned earlier, this is the kind of career where you never know month to month, year to year what's going to happen. And so I'm just, again, really blessed that I've been able to keep going for 10 years. But if you're interested in kind of getting on board and kind of becoming a partner with me and kind of in it for the long haul, and it's sort of like, kind of like sponsor an artist. You're kind of basically with me on a monthly basis to help me out. People give anywhere from $1 to $50 a month or more, but it really does go a long way in making things happen. And there's already a number of people that are doing that with me, and it's really kind of cool. It's kind of an exclusive club, the Don Amero exclusive club. So if you want to join, you get special pictures of me. I don't know. Wait, that sounds. Hold on. Wait a second.
He's not looking for groupies.
That's exactly what I meant. So no, but you can. There's a lot of just little things I like to share there. I sent postcards to my Patreons from Nashville. Only my Patreons and my in-laws. So if you want to join me in that way, that's one way to do it. But it's not the only way. Continue to come to shows and supporting artists in your local area. I know you guys are always helping out that way. So it's just one way to do that. So.
And you do have a new album coming, don't you?
Yeah, so working on that. So I've played a couple of songs tonight. So Church and Live While I'm Alive is on there. And there's a few more that are still new to me that I still don't even know how to play them and sing them. But it's mostly recorded. It's mostly done. It's going to be coming out this summer. So. And
when it comes out, where can we find out where you're going to have your release? Or are you going to have a release party so we can support you?
Yeah, I'll be doing a big show somewhere in town, and then we're also going to be a cross Canada tour. So that'll be happening August, September, October this year. Yeah.
Mark that down, ladies and gents. August,
come
September,
along,
and October.
Just come with me.
So you have 2 more songs for us tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
I think so.
I'm ready. Let's hear it.
All right. I'm trying to remember how to play this one. All right. So I mentioned happy. So I'm going to try to cheer us all up here. Standing here in the pouring rain, but in my heart it's a sunny day. And you'd think that I lost my mind, but that train's coming right on time. Yeah, love, love, love is coming my way, yeah. When she gets off, one suitcase in hand, she's gonna find one happy man. The rain is mixing with tears of joy. I'm like a kid with a Cracker Jack toy. Yeah, love, love, love is coming my way, yeah. Wheels are turning, whistles blowing, ooh. And church bells ringing, and children singing, ooh. The train doors open, soon I'm holding you. We'll dance in the rain and turn got a reason to sing in the rain. She's getting off that 5 o'clock train. Yeah. Yeah, wheels are turning, whistle blowing, ooh, and church bells ringing, and children singing, ooh, the train doors open, soon I'm holding you. We'll dance in the rain and turn these gray skies blue. These gray skies blue. Oh, these gray skies blue. Thanks. All right, I'm going to give you guys a choose your own adventure to end it off. So we can choose to end on a nice sort of like we're here in this moment together song. That doesn't help you any at all with what the description is. It's called Twilight Hour. Or the other one is about my kids, and you can sing along. What do you want to? Pressure's on. What do you guys want? Kids? Just sing along? Okay, all right. It's really easy. Your part is going to be, got me singing, ooh, na, na, ooh, na, na. Just the ooh, na, nas. That's it. You don't have to try to remember any lyrics. So don't pretend you don't know them. It's just ooh, na, na. Okay, that's all you got to sing. So when we get there, you can join in. So this is, I wrote this in Nashville on one of my trips down there. And at the time, my wife was 7 months pregnant. We took this road trip down to Nashville. 7 months pregnant, I know, she's crazy. But we get there, and all I'm thinking about is becoming a dad for the first time, and super excited and terrified and all those things. And I started imagining what it would be like going through a day and having it kind of be a kind of a crummy day, one of those kind of days that can just kind of beat you up. Like one of those days where you don't realize till noon that your fly's been open all day. Or like, you know, you step in a big puddle of water on your way to an important meeting. Like things like that happen. You've had days like those, right? Where you just feel beat up by the world, and then you walk in the door at the end of the day and your kids run up to you and they say, "Papa, you're home." And they grab you by the legs and they just lavish you with love, and whatever problems you had during the day are completely gone. I was imagining that 7 years ago when my wife was pregnant with our first boy, our only boy. Hopefully only boy. And I was imagining what that would be like, and now I'm living it. He's 6 years old. He's this wonderful, amazing little guy. And just, I walk in the door, and he runs up, "Papa, you're home." It's pretty incredible to sort of have thought that through 7 years ago, and now I get to live it. It's pretty cool. And my daughter, Stella, she's another level of, it's crazy. Like, one of the things I often tell, my friends who are becoming parents for the first time, I said, "Oh, it's so exciting. You're going to just have, like, the heightened level of love like you never, ever experienced before. But you're also going to have the heightened level of frustration and anger that you've never experienced before. So seek therapy or something, because you're going to need it." But that's what I tell my friends who are expecting. So this is a song I wrote for them. It's called "Gonna Be a Good Day," and I hope you'll sing along in the sing-along part. Remember, you're on camera. Woke up Monday morning, no alarm clock warning, rushing out the door. Traffic all around, and the car broke down as rain began to pour. But it won't get to me, 'cause I got you to come home to, living in a dream come true. Baby, We got our house down by the creek, filled with love and little feet. Baby, there's nothing I would change. It's gonna be a good day. Elevators down, had to turn around up 30 flights of stairs. I got help from the boss for the time I'd lost, but I just don't seem to care. Because in just a little while I get to see you smile. 'Cause I got you to come home to, living in a dream come true. Baby, we got our house down by the creek, filled with love and little feet. Baby, there's nothing I would change. It's gonna be a good day. You got me singing ooh na na, baby. Let's do that again. Singing ooh na na, baby. Okay, follow me on the change. Ready? Singing ooh na na, baby. 'Cause I got you to come home to, living in a dream come true. Baby, we got our house down by the creek. Oh, the creek in this song, I should let you know, is the Winnipeg River, the Red River here. So it's not really a creek, it's like a serious major river, but as we were writing this in Nashville, it just didn't seem right to say, got our house down by the Red River. It just didn't. So we took poetic license and went with creek. Now you know. Got our house down by the creek, filled with love and little feet. Baby, there's nothing I would change. Oh, you're my saving grace. It's gonna be a good day. You got me singing ooh na na, baby. 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 Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Don, for being with us tonight. Can we just give him another round of applause? And thank you, Don, and everyone who came out tonight. And we'll see you next time at an evening at XQ's. Thanks.